Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel for the first time if this is how you're finding me. I'm Sarah Roberts, and I'm a silly little guy on the internet. Last week, I had the opportunity to see Les Misérables at the Fisher Theater in Detroit, and it was kind of an emotional experience, but more on why that was in a minute. I want to talk about the production itself before the ADHD takes over, and this becomes a super long ramble. Instead, how about a shorter ramble? This staging was created by Cameron McIntosh back in 2009 to celebrate Les Mis' 25th anniversary, which I did the math, and if any other millennials want to feel old, 2009 was 15 years ago. So, yeah.
Oh, no.
According to the press brief I was sent, this version of the show has enjoyed record-breaking runs in countries including North America, Australia, Japan, France, and Spain. It's currently on stage in London's West End with a new tour in Japan in 2024. The most recent North American production has toured from 2017 to March 2020, playing 94 engagements until the production was halted due to the global pandemic. To date, Les Mis remains the sixth longest running Broadway production of all time. So this isn't my first time seeing the show, but it's my first time seeing this staging of the show. For those who haven't seen it before, the story is based on a book of the same name by Victor Hugo. It takes place in 19th century France. The book itself is split into 5 volumes titled Fantine, Cosette, Marius, Saint Denis, and Jean Valjean. And the musical itself takes on a similar format. Valjean's story is definitely the leading story, but the focus still shifts from time to time to how the other characters' stories intertwine with his. The briefest summary of what the show is about that I can come up with is that it's an examination of society's unjust treatment of the lower class. It examines their misery they're subjected to, but also focuses on the possibility that the world may improve, which I think is why it's stood the test of time and continues to resonate with audiences today. The last time I saw the production was pre-25th anniversary, and since then, technology in the theater has changed drastically. I clearly remember sitting in awe watching the old staging of the production. They used one of these giant turntables that was in the center of the stage, which allowed the actors to simulate walking between locations while not moving very far. And I think it also turned the barricade around as well at times, which I don't think people use those on tour so much anymore. I don't know. Maybe they were built into the stage. If you know, let me know. And maybe I don't know. Maybe they just took them out and the theaters don't have them as much anymore. But I don't see them used quite as much anymore with touring productions. So the ADHD is starting to kick in. I'm sorry. In this production, they make use of projected backdrops, which create a pretty realistic illusion of movement and have to be way easier on the transportation budget. There was a scene that especially broke my brain. It was when Valjean is carrying Marius through the sewers of Paris shortly after the barricade falls. Marius is essentially the only one of his friends to survive, and Valjean is determined to get him to a doctor. The two actors are simply walking back and forth across stage, switching their position up every time they make it behind the curtain to walk back across again. But the way that the projection changed behind them and the point which they walked towards, it created just this wonderful illusion of movement through the sewers that was just incredibly convincing. It was so cool. I don't know. I'm just a really big nerd. I like stuff like that. This isn't Valjean, by the way. This is Monsieur Thénardier. Speaking of whom, Matt Kroll gives one of the best performances I have ever seen of Thénardier. It's really important to have someone in the role who can be the comedic counterbalance to the heavy subject matter of the show. There's a lot of ballads, a lot of sadness, a lot of sorrow that's sung about, a lot of forlorn love, and you need someone to just kind of bring the audience back up after all of that. Honestly, though, I could talk about everyone in the cast with high praise. This company is incredibly stellar. If you do want to know more about them, though, I definitely recommend checking out Nick Cartel. He plays Jean Valjean and has a YouTube channel. I'll link it down below for you. But he does this pre-show live, and he did an interview with Matt, and he's talked about some other people associated with the show. And it's just really interesting. I've been binging them all week. But a lot of it revolves around the industry and about the show itself. At the end of the show, Nick Cartel actually addressed the audience following the final bows, which was great because it gave me plenty of time to clean up the mascara that was running down my face after the show's final number. Do you hear the people sing? I'm gonna level with you. This show hits me really hard. I cried throughout it. But I'll talk about why in a sec. Back to why Nick Cartel was addressing the audience. So the night I attended, the cast was raising money for Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS, which is actually two separate entities that have since become one. But if you're not familiar with the organization, they are our nation's leading industry-based nonprofit AIDS fundraising and grant-making organization. They provide all sorts of aid from emergency financial assistance to access to life-saving medications. I remember when Broadway shut down during the pandemic, the Actors Fund, which is now referred to as the Entertainment Community Fund, was providing assistance to the flood of performers and production crew members who were suddenly out of work with Broadway being shut down. According to their website, that fundraiser raised an additional $9 million to support those people with things like emergency financial assistance, health insurance, and counseling services. We were told that after the performance, cast members would be outside waiting in the lobby with the iconic red Broadway Cares buckets to collect small donations from guests. There were even some items special to that night's performance that you could purchase and take home with you, and that would count as a donation as well. You could get signed copies of letters passed between characters from the show, a company t-shirt not available to the public, signed show posters, these little sealed mystery boxes with small items from the tour or show, and these awesome little totes that were designed by Victoria Houston Elm, who played Madame Thénardier. They're really cute. I kind of wish I'd gotten one. If you picked up one of these mystery boxes, let me know what the contents of it were in the comments. I'm really curious about what was in them, and I haven't seen anything on social media yet, so I'm just nosy. You could even purchase the baton that Will Curry, the show's musical director and conductor, used to conduct the orchestra for that night's performance. One of the cast members took the baton and mounted it in a shadow box in front of sheet music from the show, which I think is going to be the perfect item to hang on the wall at our new house. Circling back to why I personally find this show so moving, caution, there is a Sarah lore dump ahead. Before heading off to college, I was part of a local nonprofit youth theater group, and the majority of the shows that I did with them were large productions where every kid who auditioned got to participate in some way. I think when we did Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, we had close to 100 kids in the cast. We had to go to a different theater in order to do it, to accommodate us all. There were so many of us.
Well, that's a lot of kids.
Anyways, I was used to shows being quite large, and when the opportunity to do Les Mis rolled around, it was the first time that I was cast in a musical with a small cast. There wasn't as much separation between the chorus and the leads in rehearsals. Everyone in the cast knew everyone else. It was a much more, I guess you could say, cozy ensemble experience than what I had been used to. And it had a huge influence on deepening my love for live theater. Don't ask me why 16-year-old me thought that I needed to straighten my hair within an inch of its life. I don't know her anymore. But questionable hair choices of my youth aside, I can't watch a production of Les Mis live without those core memories just bubbling back up and making me a bit nostalgic. I think it's a show that's always going to mean a lot to me. If you stuck around this long, I hope you enjoyed this little review, conversation, highlight, whatever you want to call it. If I influence you to go do one thing this year, I hope you go see this touring production of Les Mis if it's coming to your town. Or if you can go see it at another time. Maybe you'll go see it on Broadway or in London. If you do see this version of the show, let me know what you think about it in the comments. I'd love to hear more. Also, if you're interested in knowing more about my vlogging kit, that's going to be the subject of one of my next videos. This is going to be coming out sometime this month. So, make sure you subscribe, ring the bell, and I'll see you in the comments. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. I look so cozy. Do I like this? No, this isn't right. I'm gonna go change. Okay, good enough. This is what you're stuck with.